Good afternoon from Los Angeles and happy Wednesday. It's Alyssa Corman, Ed Carson here with a look at the stock market today. On today's show, we're going to be talking about Uber, a potential breakout here, also a profitable pot stock, and Lululemon showing bullish action. But first, we want to take a look at the major indexes. And today we did finish up across the board. So now we're on a 2-day win streak. The NASDAQ gained some 0.6%, while the S&P 500 and Dow gained about 0.8% each. So adding to the strong gains that we saw yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice. It's another day. It's pretty positive. The Dow, which was boosted by Apple, Microsoft, and Cisco, got above its 200-day. The NASDAQ, which was testing its 200-day again today, did manage to close in pretty much the upper half of its range. So that was pretty nice action, but we're not at a follow-through yet.
Exactly.
Positive news, maybe hopes on Mexico tariffs, but there's no real word on that. So it could change overnight really bullishly or very bearishly on this.
Exactly. It's been definitely a very headline-driven market lately. But as far as the technicals here, positive to see the NASDAQ above the 200-day line, and you mentioned the follow-through day. So can you give us a brief primer for those new viewers or even those who need a refresher, what exactly that follow-through day is and what it means for the rally attempt?
Yeah, I mean, basically what it is like a few days into a rally attempt, you want to see a big gain in higher volume on one or more of the major averages, the more the better.
Right.
On higher volume, the more the better than the prior day. And that signifies that the mutual funds and the really big institutions, they're buying into it. I mean, because they're the ones who drive the market. If there's just sort of a lackluster gain, for a while there, it doesn't necessarily mean it. We saw some gains earlier in May, and it looked like, hey, maybe we got a rally attempt, but it didn't happen.
Exactly. So even though yesterday was a really bullish day, you want to put that in context. So day 4 usually or of a rally attempt, but also as we will find out on the podcast episode that launches this week, the first follow-through day doesn't always work out.
Yeah, I mean, basically follow-throughs do not always work, but there's almost no instances where a rally works without a follow-through day.
Exactly. That's a very good point. Well, let's take a look at a few individual names, starting with Uber. If you've been watching this show, you know that we've been mentioning IPO bases and the importance of waiting for an IPO-based breakout and not buying on the first day of trade. And we did see strong gains for Uber today. It gained about 5.3% or so, and it finished just under a potential buy point.
Yeah, I mean, so it is interesting. I mean, Uber, which really had not traded above its IPO price, finally did. I mean, partly that's because of the correction that we were in, but it's a positive that it was trying to break out. We'll see. You have to keep in mind it's losing a lot of money. Its revenue growth is slowing. It's not clear when they will make money. Tomorrow we actually have a trio of recent IPOs that have maybe stronger growth. Beyond Meat, Zoom Video, and PagerDuty. So those are other IPOs. I mean, not necessarily setting up, but those are worth looking at as well.
Exactly. Well, we do have the RS line looking strong here, vying for a breakout. But as you mentioned, revenue growth is slowing. And we like to see, even though a lot of recent IPOs are not yet profitable, seeing strong sales growth of at least 30% or more is usually a good sign for an IPO. And Uber's last quarterly revenue growth was at 20%. So there are fundamental questions here for sure.
And I just say, even if an IPO breaks, and some of those IPOs, they break out and they look strong, IPOs can be really volatile. So they might run up 20-30% and then come right back down. So if you do buy into an IPO, be ready to get the heck out.
Exactly. Not for the faint of heart. And let's pivot our attention to a profitable pot stock, IIPR, Innovative Industrial Properties, a new one for the show. And we don't typically focus on REITs, but IIPR is showing really bullish chart action today, gained almost 9%.
Yeah, the stock was right around that buy point. It's really been nice action but it actually went on a 352% run from a breakout back in December 2017 to its March peak. It's highly profitable, revenue growth triple digits. I mean, the revenue is very, very tiny, but basically they're a REIT. They involve the property about these things. It's sort of like, if you think about the gold rush, you don't make money off of actually panning for gold. It's the people selling the Levi's and selling the tools that made money. And so this one's actually doing very well. Relative strength line at a new high. I think the only thing that really you have to be concerned about in terms of is that it's a 4-stage base.
Yeah, so later stage bases more likely to fail, but it's also a sign of a long run.
Yeah.
But I like seeing this relative strength line at a new high before the stock hits a new price high.
Yeah.
So we like seeing that RS line at a new high when a stock breaks out, and it's even more bullish if it hits the high before a breakout.
Absolutely.
All right, well, we'll be keeping this pot play on our radar. And last but not least, we want to talk about Lululemon today, which was able to retake its 50-day moving average. In the recent sell-off, a lot of stocks lost support at their 50-day line, so it's a positive sign for Lululemon to retake that level relatively quickly, gaining almost 3% today to retake that line, and it's forming a base heading into earnings.
Yes. I mean, Lululemon, it sold off last week because there was a lot of apparel makers and retailers that had really bad earnings or guidance, and so, a lot of stocks like Lulu came down. But yeah, it bounced right back up, sort of a base-on-base formation. It's been acting very well. It's just one to keep an eye on. This is an IBD 50 stock. Actually, IIPR is also an IBD 50 stock, the tiny little stock. So these are definitely stocks to watch, and it's just. Hopefully, we can see a rally continue, because this would be one to put on your watch list because we're still in a correction.
Exactly. I think that is important to note here, even though there are breakout opportunities, knowing that when a market is in correction, the vast majority of stocks are going to be moving in the same direction as the overall market. So while we are, seeing a few up days, we're not quite out of the woods yet.
Absolutely.
All right, everyone. Thanks so much for watching. And I mentioned our podcast. Make sure you go to investors.com/podcast for all the details on the Investing with IBD show. We have a new episode that drops every Thursday, so make sure you subscribe to get the latest episode downloaded on your phone or wherever you listen to podcasts. Like I said, we're going to be talking about the overall market and follow-through days as well as swing trading. So make sure you tune in for that. Well, that's it for us. Make sure you follow us across social media for the latest, and we will see you right back here tomorrow. Thanks for watching.